I really need is one shot. Now they trying to get their hands in the pot. Damn, what you got? Grams. Where you at? Land. Cooking with the pan.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about the Miz's promo from Monday Night Raw, December 21st. So, the setup, the context is AJ Styles is very angry at The Miz for cashing in his money in the bank in the middle of his ladder match and causing him to lose. And The Miz cuts probably one of the best promos of his life. And The Miz gets like this. He has these moments where he just gets on fire. He enters the zone, right? And The Miz, well, he has like this trigger. And it's the being disrespected. The lack of respect is a trigger for The Miz. And so when he started talking about this Money in the Bank and about how this was so important to him to get that respect, and there was fire in his eyes, his face was beet red, and he was staring at the camera, he's staring at AJ Styles, and he's telling them like, 15 years I fought and scratched to be the poster boy of the WWE, and nobody respects me. You know, it was like, wow. To be able to, and then you could tell it was Mike Mizanin talking, not The Miz. Like Mike, for like a few seconds, Mike Mizanin possessed The Miz, and he says, you know, I want that respect. I thought that if I won the title, people would respect me. I want that respect. 15 years, I want that respect. And then he turned on a dime and went back to doing comedy. Oh, it didn't, but first starters, he was contrite in his apology. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then he says, I can only make this right. And he offered him a role in his movie, which of course ended up going into more yucks, where AJ Styles being really tiny on this poster. And they started talking and then almost talked, and it was like, oh, no. And then he went to the corny Christmas Carol. Look, we're not going to go through this whole thing. There was a time, man, where being able to, there was a promo of your life. You know, you would cut almost one promo, and it would change you on a dime from mid-card act or guy on the cusp to being the star, the top guy, the focal point. You know, when Shane Douglas threw down the NWA title, told the NWA to kiss his ass. When Rock cut the Die Rocky Die promo. When Steve Austin cuts, Austin 316 promo. When Triple H talks about the curtain call. When Mankind comes out and Mick Foley possesses Mankind, he talks about being bullied and losing his ear and all that type of stuff. Like, there used to be these moments. You know, even Kofi Kingston. When Kofi Kingston went from 11 years, man, 11 years. You know, there used to be these moments where you could cut these promos and be almost on your path to being a world champion, to being the top guy. And The Miz should have been on that path a long time ago. Because he cut a similar promo to this in 2016. We're Talking Smack segment, right? When he chewed out Daniel Bryan. You know? Everybody talks about that promo. It's famous. This one was just as good. Matter of fact, this one was better because he was able to do so many different things. The Miz is such a crazy, dynamic performer, and I've never been so torn on a performer before because he is both incredible and insufferable at the same time. Now, the insufferable part is that he's not really a good worker. You know, he's just hasn't put it together in the ring. He's not an athlete. Okay, he's better than he used to be, but he's not an athlete. But and then also how he's presented. You know, I'm talking 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks straight of Miz TV comedy, dumb shit. Okay, when you have this guy doing comedy, dumb shit every week, people is gonna start disliking him. If he cut promos like this every week, I wouldn't mind him wrestling McIntyre. Go for it. That would raise up both of them. Both of them would be elevated if The Miz was able to talk the way he was able to talk on this Raw. If he was able to cut those promos about not being respected and how dare Drew McIntyre, who got fired be considered a respectable champion and not the Miz, who never got fired. You know, the guy who made himself from the WWE system. I'm talking before they was in NXT. You know, you're talking about this guy who couldn't wrestle or talk when he started, who through their training and their system, they molded him into being a star. He should be the face of the company. By all rights, he should be. Of all the times WWE actually makes somebody, okay, like Randy Orton, like John Cena, the Miz should be there. But for some reason, they just decided, nah, not the Miz, not you. You get your own little section of society, your own little section of the show, but you don't get to be the star. You know, you get to be the star of that segment, of that particular piece, but you don't get to be the top guy, the world champion, the main event. And when you were the main event, you were overshadowed by The Rock, right? So that's a really strange, it's a really strange place to be, where I'm stupefied at how good The Miz is at promos. But I'm also like, I just know that they're going to go into, welcome everyone to Miz TV. Right next week, I'm just going to be like, ugh, fuck The Miz, fuck him. You know? But this promo was fantastic. I mean, The Miz's range as a performer is, he should be and I mean this, he should be the blueprint for what they do in spaces like NXT, where WWE asks you to be able to do different things. You have to be able to cut these serious, badass promos. You also have to be able to do comedy. You also have to be able to do drama, to, you know, the look, the intensity, all that. You have to be able to do all of that shit. And, you know, very few guys can do it. Like, they compressed Seth Rollins into being able to do it. Like, Seth Rollins had some really good promos this year, in 2020 in the empty arena. He did really good as far as being a microphone, being able to emote, being able to get the content out. They just had his promos go too long. He was talking too much. And that's the same thing with The Miz. He's like, Miz is great, but why not short spurts? We don't need him to do jokey jokes, smiling face promos all the time. Like, The Miz should be the blueprint. Like, he is one of the guys that they made. Like, through their system, The Miz came. He couldn't do shit when he got there. But it's unfortunate that The Miz will never get that respect. That he so genuinely wants, that validation that he so genuinely wants. It probably takes for him to retire or, you know, fuck around and die before anybody starts talking about how good he really is. Because he didn't come from the independents. You know, that's the problem. Imagine if somebody from the independents would have cut this promo. They would have been like, WWE doesn't push anybody, and this is the guy you got on the roster cutting these promos, man. Like, whew. But it's The Miz, so they just kind of like, oh, well, MJF is really good. It's like, the MJF just thinks he's the fucking Miz. Matt Taven is just The Miz. Now, The Miz does ape a lot from Chris Jericho, but that's really where we should be going with this. Jericho wants to get up and leave, so what? We'll just replace him with The Miz. Now, he's not Jericho in the ring, no. But as far as being able to be dynamic, have range of character, range of emotion, oh yeah, he can do it. He can do that. You know? And I don't see why they just don't try it. I'm okay with The Miz. And I'm not saying put the belt on The Miz right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let this version of The Miz main event some shows. Let this version of The Miz, you know, start Raw, where he's demanding his money in the bank very angrily, because this is his pathway to respect. This is his pathway to success. And he's right. I told you that he was going to do it. You thought I wasn't going to say I told you so? I was one of the only people on the internet that said that was smart enough to realize that John Morrison's the one cashed in the money in the bank. It will happen. I fully believe in it. You know, I fully believe they will give him that money in the bank back. But this is The Miz that I want when he does get it back, and during the inevitable breakup with John Morrison. This is The Miz that I want. I want fire in his belly. Give me my respect, The Miz. That's what I want. And I think everybody else does too. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys for listening. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
in paper dawn with the sunrise.